Every morning, as the sun rises once more, grab your sketch pad when you're heading out the door. 'Cause each day looks a little different than the one before, and you never know what nature has in store. Golden sunshine, casting shadows 'neath the trees. In the distance, blue sky mingling with blue seas. How can you capture fleeting scenes like these? Get out your sketch pad and let's make some memories. The landscape's made of earth and water, sky and plants and stones, but also of perspectives, textures, colors, shapes and tones. If you get a little lonely sketching on your own, well, come on and draw the landscape with Darryl Jones. Yeah, it's time to draw the landscape with Darryl Jones.
What I'm trying to do right now is get this perspective drawing set up. Even though it's about color, this is a really wild and crazy perspective that we're sitting in, and it's really interesting. And the vanishing point is off the page, so I have to kind of make it up. So I'm kind of pulling lines as I see them, but I'm trying to at least get the impression that we're in this perspective. It's also, not only is it a perspective, but we're looking down and directly up at this building, so I've never done a perspective like this before. I've never sat this close to something in perspective to draw it, but it's really fun. And there's a lot of really neat shadows that I'm looking forward to painting in here. The way the shadows are falling across the fruit, especially. Daniel, this is the trickiest composition of the day.
I told you. Yeah, it's definitely very tricky.
What's your favorite fruit, Daniel?
I'm partial to bananas.
Yeah.
Because they're so filling. I mean, not to be a lot of bananas a day.
Lots of potassium?
Definitely a lot of potassium. Are there papayas too? I grow papayas.
Oh yeah, I love papaya.
They're kind of expensive.
So there's some really great shadows happening here. And there's this, you know what, this little detail, but I like, is the blue and red tile on the street.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get to that, but...
I don't know if I'm gonna get to that either, but it's nice. I'm gonna not make the mistake of drawing text this time, at least for myself. I feel like this composition, for me, is a lot about shadow. And shadow is a really great way to give dimension, like we talked about, you know, as opposed to little baobab that didn't have a lot of dimension, at least not in light, because if it was flat and overcast. This is very dynamic in perspective, and there's a lot of shadow. And originally I wanted to do a close-up of just the fruit, but this is a really, really wonderful view of the market. You really feel like you're on the street. Well,
we are.
I mean, we are on the street.
Yeah, we are on the street.
We are on the street. What are we painting today?
Today, we're painting one of the classic Presidio homes. And the reason why I've selected this composition is because it has some really nice strong lines and the very classic Presidio colors, which I'll be talking about today when we go into the palette. So right now you can see the classic red roofs.
Mm-hmm. Those are my favorite parts.
The white, which has kind of a yellowish, bluish color right now because of where the sun is. And then there's these gorgeous cypress trees in the background, which have kind of a green-brown sepia. And then in the foreground, there's a beautiful green lawn with some emerald and lime green and some dark sap green and ultramarine in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. So what does this scene or does this setting or does this palette have a certain mood or something for you, or like what attracts you to these houses? Because you paint a lot of houses, right?
I paint some houses. I paint more scenes. And so I like this set of houses in particular because they have kind of a timeless feel. And I think it's kind of fun to imagine people living here 100 years ago and the house is looking very much the same. What's nice now, also looking at this same house, is that there are artifacts of our modern life which tell you that it's not 100 years ago.
Oh, like a satellite dish or
Yeah.
or like a telephone wire or something like that?
Yeah, there's no satellite dish in this particular scene, but there's a stop sign.
Oh yeah.
And
You don't think they had stop signs 100 years ago?
I think they did, but they probably didn't have stop signs quite like that. And you can also tell from the marking on the street. It's kind of, we have more paint that we put on the roadway now than people did before.
So what is it about this palette? I mean, me personally, this is one of my favorite palettes.